Discussion about what's coming up tomorrow, and some of the modeling overnight's been slightly drier and maybe a little bit more ice. So this 9 to 12, we might be losing that and just going maybe a 6 to 9. Going to wait to see what the morning models, the 12Z run, if you will. And we go everything we do on Greenwich Mean Time meteorologically, because if we all said 7 a.m., we'd have 24 different 7 a.m.s. But if we all say Greenwich Mean Time or 12Z, you know, that comes out shortly from those areas. So 6 to 9 is probably more likely. Locally, we may see 10 or so, with a general 2 to 4, 4 to 6 bisecting Washington. Better chance 4 or more north and west. Then you get south and east into Charles County, Prince George's County. And this is snow and sleet, by the way, is what we're thinking, to Fredericksburg. And I think the thump comes in the morning. Most of this will be probably between 5, 6 a.m. and noon. We get a lull in the afternoon, and we're going to have some sleet and freezing rain mixing in from the south, and icing is also a concern. In fact, that sleet could be rather heavy right across the metro of Washington, Baltimore, down through Manassas, Prince William County, right down 95. And some areas are going to see quite a bit of ice, too. This is another concern, and we're going to tweak where this goes. This is not the final call, just the second call, because I've seen some modeling overnight that's taken this heavier, this quarter-inch plus, a little bit farther north and west. So that might be more of Montgomery and Howard and Fairfax and Loudoun counties see more ice than what we're showing you right now. So just keep in mind that we're still, even though a day out, we're just within 24 hours of the start now, and even less, you know, we're still getting new data. So we're going to tweak this just a tiny bit. But ice is a big problem, because when you get above a quarter-inch of ice, now you're at the point where the weight of the ice, the freezing rain that sticks to everything, is enough to pull down big branches and power lines. As far as the watches and warnings, as of 8:23 this morning, we had winter storm warnings already posted down in the Richmond area. Not quite Fauquier, but Culpeper to Fredericksburg there, getting into the northern neck, south and west into the Carolinas and Tennessee, Kentucky. Into New England, though, from us, we've got winter storm watches that are posted. And the storm we're watching, that is down in Texas and Oklahoma, pulling into the Mississippi Valley. Look at all this freezing precip here, freezing rain, sleet from Texas, getting into western Louisiana now, and all that snow, which is now moving over toward Tennessee and areas in Mississippi, into Missouri, Arkansas, where winter storm warnings are in effect. Yeah, this is another big storm there. So for us, let's time it out for you, as it looks like we'll be fine through the day today, just cold. Yesterday, 40s and some 50s. Today, 30s. In fact, low 30s north and west, upper 30s down toward Fredericksburg, probably 36, maybe 37 at National Airport. Stopping the clock at 9 o'clock, and we see a little bit of snow starting to break out in eastern West Virginia. 3 a.m., well, the snow is getting out toward I-81 now, areas west of there in southwestern Virginia. By 6:30, yeah, we're in the snow. And it's probably going to go from not much to boom pretty quickly. I would say from within an hour of start time, many of you may be in moderate snow tomorrow morning. This is when we're going to pick up the brunt of our snowfall. And you'll notice all this area in pink, Richmond, Charlottesville, back to Roanoke, creeping into southern Maryland now, Charles County, getting over to maybe Dale City and the Occoquan. That's all either sleet or freezing rain, and that line moves north, but the precip's going to shut down for a little while. Looks like we'll get into a lull for the afternoon. Coastal, well, that slow's a little slow, but the coastal takes over, and some of that precip's going to fill back in the form mostly of sleet and freezing rain with a little bit of snow later Thursday afternoon, Thursday night into early Friday morning. So this will be the timing on that, but really probably the critical time, probably 5, 6 a.m. till noon. Now let's look at some of the modeling here, and this is where I want to tell you where we pull our hair out as meteorologists. Where you've got one saying 7.5, and that seems a little high, right? Even the NAM has seemed high, but the GEM, that's a Canadian, that seems low. That's for D.C. So, but a bunch of 4 to 5s. The NAM just going crazy up in Hagerstown, and this one, again, I'm throwing that out. But could Hagerstown get, you know, that 6 to 9? Yeah, that seems reasonable. Depends on how much sleet mixes in even in Hagerstown. Leesburg, same story, but the NAM also goes a little bit too much there. As far as what I think you should be doing today, especially with ice coming in, ice is the worst. Ice can cause the problems with the power outages. So, you know, some preps to think, if you don't have enough batteries for your radio or whatever, get some batteries. Fill up your car today. Get your prescriptions filled today, because traveling tomorrow could be very difficult if you need to do anything tomorrow. Keep your devices charged, right? This guy, the power's out at your house. This is, you know, probably the one savior you got. And know how to light your fireplace. And I know that may sound stupid. You're like, hey, you throw a log and light a match. No, there are people who have newer homes. They got a switch on the wall that may not know how to do it manually. Now's the time to figure it out. Have extra bottles of water And, just to be on the safe side, right, put some water in a bathtub. Because if the pumps or something go down and you don't have water, you want to be able to flush your toilet. Some basic necessities. Well, you got to refill the toilet tank, and that's where you're going to have a chance to fill the water from. So let me load up the WSA 9 page. We'll go back here. I'll try to answer some of your questions here this morning. So as I'm multitasking, so give me a second. We've got 8:27. I got about 8 more minutes, 10 more minutes. I can do this because Mary's got to get in here and get ready for a Great Day Washington coming up at 9 a.m. So she's actually been prepping in another part of the station right now. We're trying to stay socially distant, as we suggest all of you do as well. All right, so I've just loaded up the page. Let me see what's going on. If you've posted something before 8:27, I've missed it already. So well, I don't know, Eddie, that's up to you. I have no idea of how much snow as usual. All right, David, thank you. A very positive comment there. Hello from Calvert. What else we got? All right. All that global warming. Rebecca, let me comment on the global warming. So what happens when we have less ice around the poles? The polar vortex, which is always there, right, is not as tight. So you get these bigger ups and downs in the jet stream, and you get these Arctic outbreaks like we just saw. Overall, though, you've got a warmer trend, right? If you average, over the years, one cold outbreak does not mean we don't have global warming. But if you look at things over 30, 40, 50 years, the trends are still warming. But you can have these bigger storms and these bigger outbreaks during warming because of the weaker polar vortex. So how much for Damascus? Right now, I'm thinking somewhere in the 4 to 6, maybe 8, but there'll be snow, sleet, and some ice on top of that. Fauquier County depends. Southern part of the county, if you remember, was seeing a lot less snow and more sleet, freezing rain than the northern part of the county. So for Fauquier County, and again, this map, we may be tweaking this a little bit today, but as of this morning, right, southern Fauquier was down just in the 2 to 4. The northern part might get 6 or more, right, if the changeover's a little bit later up there. So could be big differences from Bealton to the Plains and Marshall. Is Tappahannock going to be bad tomorrow to King William? There could be enough icing to cause problems there tomorrow. Tappahannock, if they're lucky, they go over to all rain, but they're going to be borderline staying freezing rain and cold. What are the expected totals for Waldorf? Well, Waldorf is also in the 2 to maybe 4, but Waldorf also has to worry about the ice, because the ice in Waldorf could be enough to cause problems with power, right? If Waldorf gets in that 1/4 to 1/2, which I think is probably going to happen, there will be power outages. So that's the bigger problem there. Culpeper also, as we go back and we look at that, Culpeper, we still have Culpeper 4 plus, maybe 5, outside chance of 6, but Culpeper also could get a 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice on top of that. And for my money, if you're in one of those years that's going to get snow first, then ice, I wouldn't even shovel until after we're done with the freezing rain, because it's easier to clear freezing rain off of a snow base than it is off of a driveway without anything under it. So that's how I'm going to attack my driveway when it's time. Spotsylvania seems to be on the southern line for changeover. Do you see ice becoming a greater threat in southern counties? Potentially, yes, I do. That's why, if you remember our ice map, the ice map had the 1/4 to 1/2 a little bit more south. Some of the modeling this morning is hinting that the 1/4 may have to be dragged farther north and west into these areas. So this is what we're going to try to figure out today. What are you thinking for King George? Well, King George also could have a lot of icing as well. There could be power outages from icing with less snow, more sleet, freezing rain there. I'm hoping King George switches over to all rain, but that may be tough. And maybe if you're right on the river, you get it, but inland you don't. It could be borderline in King George the way it looks now. Manassas also, we're looking at those areas with heavier ice, heavy sleet, and potentially 4 or 5 inches of snow. So you may get it all. Now, it's possible Manassas, if the sleet comes in earlier, this 2 to 4 is more likely for Manassas. I think there's going to be a pretty tight gradient of who gets 6 plus and who gets 2 and less. So we may have to just everything on the numbers here, get them closer together. Olney right now in central Montgomery County, you're borderline 6 plus, but maybe 4 to 6. I'm leaning toward that might be a better guess when we tweak the maps here. But regardless, only on top of that, still potential for a 1/4 inch of ice or more. So these winter storm warnings are for both snow and ice. If it was just going to be ice, it would be an ice storm warning. But when you have both types of precipitation that are causing big problems, Weather Service just goes with a winter storm warning. Oh, yeah, well, Cornita, you missed the snow. Stay safe. All right, well, I'm sure there's some people who would rather be in Florida with you. All right. Well, hey, let me just say, Krista, it's okay. I mean, some people can't do well with the map, so it's okay. Any wind issues with the storm? I don't think that much wind. It'll be a little bit breezy, but if we have weighted power lines, with quarter to half an inch of ice on them, it doesn't take much wind to start causing problems. That's a lot of weight on those power lines. Prince George's County, big difference from north to south. It could be a situation where down towards Hughesville and Aquasco we're raining, but you get north of 50 and your snow, sleet, freezing rain, and you don't see above freezing temperatures till Friday, where you could have 4 or 5 inches of snow, quarter inch or more of ice. There could be far bigger consequences in central and northern Prince George's than southeastern Prince George's County. By the way, if you guys have a specific city versus a county, that will help me, because we have some counties here that have really tremendous differences in weather, like in Fauquier and Howard and Montgomery, even Loudoun County, from southeast to north part of the county, big differences. So any specifics you can give me, assuming that's a place I know. Will there be enough snow to build a snowman in Alexandria? Jennifer, the problem with building a snowman is, well, there'll be enough snow. There's going to be a layer of ice on top of everything. So you'll get that crunchy, crusty. So I don't see this as snowman building snow as much as it is, if you want to go sledding. Boy, sledding on a coating of ice, you might not have much steering control, but you will fly. Clinton, Maryland, also, you see Clinton and southern Prince George's. We've got them in 2 to 4, but the other problem for Clinton is the potential for quarter to half an inch of ice the way it looks right now. So I'm concerned that Clinton could have power outages from ice. Front Royal, snow and some sleet. I think the ice threat in Front Royal is less. Right now we've got you 6 to 9. We may have to lower you 4 to 6, but snow and sleet is more the thing there than there could be some freezing rain, but it looks much less than some other areas. Baltimore like DC, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, somewhere in that range. Potential for enough ice to cause problems, but they may be just far enough north that they stay less than a quarter inch of ice. Quarter inch is like the magic number because that much weight on the power lines, branches, boom, just that things start to break more at a quarter inch. Less than a quarter inch, it's dangerous, it's slick, but we don't have the damage and destruction that we do with heavier amounts of icing. Port Deposit down in south, in Charles County, I believe. Got you guys in the 2 to maybe 4, but the problem down there is also going to be freezing rain, problematic icing, potentially significant enough icing to cause power outages. Any chance I'll reduce numbers for the western areas? Yes, there is. There may be a dry slot moving in, so while we've got 6 to 9, maybe we take it to 5 to 8 with a locally 10, right, in the mountains there, so which is less than what we were thinking. So that's definitely a chance that we'll go a little bit less there. What time's it starting? It's not starting until overnight, right? So it'll be between midnight out toward Garrett County and Petersburg here. Might be 5, 6 a.m. in D.C. the way it looks right now. So if you have to get out today, tonight, there won't be any issues traveling around there. Catlet, my problem with Catlet is just trying to figure out precipitation types. My concern for Catlet is the icing potential greater than quarter inch. You guys can easily handle a few inches of snow, but quarter to half an inch of ice down there, you've got power issues. You've got branches coming down, maybe some trees if there's enough ice down there. All these snow and sleet, probably in the 4 to 6 range, more than 6 plus, but Aldi can still get, I think, a 1/10 to a quarter inch of icing out of this. Woodstock is more snow and sleet, probably in that 5, 6, 7 inch range, a little bit of icing there, but you should be just far enough north and west out in the Shenandoah Valley where the major icing avoids you. Culpeper looking like more ice storm or snow. I'll say yes, I think both. I think you get a few inches of snow, and I think you get enough ice that will also cause problems regardless of how much snow you get. So that's sort of a yes to both. Marshall, Virginia, northern Fauquier County, some icing, more snow than ice. But right now, Marshall's probably closer to 4 to 6 than 6 plus. Marshall's right about here. Ashburn, I've got Ashburn still in the 4 to 6, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. But the problem with Ashburn is you're going to get less or more than a quarter inch of icing, and right now it's close. So you've got to be prepared for the potential for enough ice to cause power problems in Ashburn as well. You live in Frederick, work in Sterling, work until 10, and have to be at work at noon tomorrow. What's your commute looking like tomorrow? Well, it all depends on VDOT and State Highway in Maryland, right? I think Route 15 will generally be treated with salt and should be mostly wet and plowed also. I say that, right? You will get home with no problems. Getting to work tomorrow is going to be your issue. You won't have any problems getting home, but getting to work tomorrow, you may have to double your commute time. I mean, it still may be snowpacked going, if you have to be at work at 10 o'clock or whatever, or noon tomorrow, yeah, that could be a very tough ride into work tomorrow. So, Dominic, after this one, will we have any more storms after this? There's plenty of time, but the pattern does change. I still think there's enough cold air that we could have another storm or two, but this more harsh winter pattern we've had for the last few weeks, after this weekend, looks to relax some. So that's my guess there. All right, I got about 1 more minute. Fort Belvoir looks more 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow and sleet, and then potentially ice enough on top of that to knock down some power lines. When will it be gone in La Plata? Friday morning could still have some rain or snow showers, so probably mid-morning Friday, early morning Friday. You know, it's not going to be gone Thursday night. Thursday night overnight we'll have some lingering freezing rain, freezing drizzle, sleet in spots until Friday morning. Shenandoah Junction near Charlestown, yeah, probably 6, 7, 8 inches there with a little bit of sleet, not too much icing the way it looks now. And same with Harper's Ferry, be about the same there. Round Hill, okay, you're from Rockville. Hello, Fredericksburg City. Problem in Fredericksburg, more ice, right? 2, maybe 4 inches of snow and sleet, but a quarter to half inch of ice is going to be that. Hey, look, it's 8:38, almost 8:39. I got to get out of here. I got to clean up so Mary can get in, get ready for Great Day Washington coming up at 9. She will have an update then, also at noon. We are starting at 4 a.m. tomorrow on Great Day Washington, so I hope you will tune in, as I like to say, dark and early with us on Thursday morning. The thump, let me just review real quickly. We'll get a thump of snow in the morning through midday. I think a lull with a lighter snow, sleet, freezing rain, but still enough to cause problems. The overall icing threat at the moment, and we may have to adjust this, is still some areas are going to see quarter to maybe half an inch of ice, and that will bring down power lines and big branches and cause power outages. So please be prepared for that. There are the watches and warnings just to our southwest, but it's just a matter of time until we get upgraded. The storm now is moving into the Mississippi Valley. It's going to be coming here as we head into the overnight. I'll just time it out for you one last time, and then I got to hang it up here. But here's the snow overnight by 6:30. Notice light snow in Baltimore, moderate snow to D.C., moderate to heavy snow south and west of Washington, and that'll be the case through the morning hours with that sleet, freezing rain line by even mid-morning, creeping into southern Maryland, some rain potentially down in St. Mary's and the northern neck. And we'll see that rain area try to get into Calvert as well here by noon with a lull in the afternoon and more sleet, freezing rain as we head into Thursday night. Finally, the storm will end on Friday morning. And a cold weekend coming our way with highs in the 30s. All right, that's it for now. I got to run. I'm Howard Bernstein. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for a little bit of your time this Wednesday morning.